Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. The Tatum hotline is now open, and I've got more of these voicemails. Y'all are begging for them. They're funny as heck. Jesse Waters had a man on the street at the No Kings protest, and it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. These people are so silly, it's crazy. Anyway, Jaden Ivey, he got cut from the Bulls for speaking up against Pride Month and being a Christian, pretty much. How many females does it take to take down a shirtless man? Only God knows, and the video reveals that they still couldn't do it. All right, anyway, but before we get to any of that, we got to talk about this Daily Mail deceptive article that I have to debunk. It is absolutely insane, and they should be ashamed of themselves, make a retraction or edit the article because it is not correct. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Shout out to all the members. Thank you for joining the membership program. We appreciate you. If you're not a part of the membership program, go check out the join button. You can see what the options are, see if you want to be involved in the membership program. Also, Tatum Hotline. You can call in to the Tatum Hotline. We deal with those hotline call-ins after the show, at the end of the show. So hang around for those. It's 480-788-1858. That's 480-788-1858. We put a bunch of eights in there so you'll remember it. All right, let's get to the first topic of the day, and that's the Daily Mail article. The devil is moving, y'all, in our society. The devil is moving. And you need to either listen to people who have discernment, people who have the Spirit of God in them that can help guide you, because some of us do this every single day. Now, if you do it on your own, that's good. I encourage you to. But for those of us who do it every day while you at work, this is my job. Listen to people like myself and others who are doing this in good faith and have God in them so we can lead you into the right direction, or at least help you find the right direction. When you look at the way people are treating Erica Kirk, that should tell you everything you need to know about the state of what's going on in our country and how people are so easily deceived. It's insane. I can get to that on another topic. But let's talk about the Daily Mail article. I'm going to try to pull the article up so you guys can read it, or you can read it with me, because the article was incredibly deceptive. I'm sure I can sum it up for you. I don't want all these ads being in there, but I'm sure I can sum it up for you. The title is deceptive, and it says, bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson's new court filings claim. Now, let me explain this to you, because if you go down in the article, here, put the article back up there. When you go down in the article, and we'll probably read some of this together, it articulates very clearly what that means. But the headline is deceptive, and everybody that want the killer of Charlie Kirk to get off, they're salivating at the opportunity for that to happen. Put it back on me. There's a difference between a bullet being identified and matching a gun that's different than the suspect weapon, which means that the bullet fragment was recovered, it was test fired, and it was identified with the gun that wasn't a suspect gun. That is different than the bullet is so fragmented that it was inconclusive, which makes it impossible to identify with any gun, including the suspect weapon. Now, the reality of what's happening is the latter. The former is what they tried to allude to in the Daily Mail article in the title. Now, let's read it real quick so we can be on the same page. It says the bullet that killed conservative commentator Charlie Kirk may not match the rifle used by suspected killer Tyler Robinson, a bombshell new court filing states. Now, this is, so you guys know, a court filing isn't truth. This is the defense team raising a concern or a question or something that they are going to try to defy, or not defy, but they're going to try to defeat in the court proceeding. That does not mean that it's true, all right? Continue to read. It says Robinson's 22 is facing capital murder charges on potential death sentence for Kirk's murder in Utah Valley University on September the 10th. Now, obviously, in my opinion, this entire situation is because they don't want him to get the death penalty, and so they're building up a defense. I don't think nobody and their mama think that he's innocent. People who are privy to the case. All right, let's get back to the article. All right, it says, but the defense attorneys now argue that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, the ATF, was unable to identify the bullet recovered at the autopsy to the rifle alleged tied to Mr. Robinson. The question that you need to ask yourself is, why weren't they able to identify the bullet recovered? Like, I want you guys to understand what's being said here. It did not say they were able to identify the bullet and it didn't match the gun. They're saying they were unable to identify the bullet recovered at the autopsy, meaning that they were unable to get the pieces of the bullet together in a sufficient amount, an efficient way to be able to connect it to the gun that was fired. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of legal jargon. All right, continue to go down. It said the defense team may now offer the ATF firearms analyst testimony as exculpatory evidence. They said that the motion filed on Friday to push the preliminary hearing back at least 6 months. There's a reason why they're doing these things, y'all. They did not want the case to be public. They wanted to make sure that they pushed the case, and they're doing all these objections. This is what defense attorneys do because they want to set their client up for the best possible situation that he will not get the death penalty. There's no way in the world that they think that he's not going to get found guilty. If you look at the court filings, they have not put a plea in yet. So some people think that he didn't plead guilty. He hasn't put a plea in yet. They may actually have him plead guilty. I don't know. We don't know. They haven't done a plea yet. Let's continue to read the article real quick, and then we'll get to more analysis. It says, it also noted that the DNA reported filed by the Federal Bureau of Investigations and the ATF that takes time for a defense team to analyze because reports indicated that the several different DNA samples were found on some items of evidence. Now, is that odd? Is that abnormal? No, it's not. If you're a conspiracy theorist and you want everything to be that the Jews killed Charlie Kirk and you don't want to listen to any real evidence that points to Tyler Robinson being the suspect, although he's been arrested, then you will say, oh, DNA was on other stuff. Let me just give you an example. There's multiple people's DNA. I know it sounds weird, but there's multiple DNA samples on my gun. If I were to go and shoot somebody today and they did a test of DNA on my gun, they're going to find 5 or 6 people on my DNA on my gun. Why is that? My security guy touched my gun. My wife has touched the gun. I think we went shooting the other day, and I let somebody else shoot my gun at the shooting range. So, there's multiple items of DNA. My oldest son's DNA could be on my gun because he shot my gun not too long ago, and I'm not cleaning my gun every day. So if something were to happen, people may say there are multiple DNA samples on the gun that Brandon Tatum used. It's not odd that happens. Same with my AR-15. You had the guy at the gun club that, sometimes I had them clean the gun or whatever the case may be, but this time I got the can on it. Shout out to Silencer Shop. I got a suppressor on the gun. The person that had the suppressors put the suppressor on the gun first to send me a picture of it, and then they took the suppressor off. So I had to go down there and sign the paperwork. Then I got the suppressor. My security guy had the gun. I let him shoot the suppressed gun, and all kinds of people got hands on suppressors and all kind of other stuff. So it's not too abnormal that there could be multiple DNA, and the due diligence of a defense team. They do need to go through the evidence. All right, let's continue. All right. And it says that these cases determine the number of contributors to the DNA mixture and determine whether the FBI and the ATF reliably applied validated and correct scientific procedures, which is normal. Is a complicated process which requires the assistance of various types of experts, including forensic biologists, geneticists, system engineers, and statisticians, all of whom must review and evaluate several different categories the filing states. Okay, that's normal. This happens in every trial. If you're a real defense attorney, you have to take all of the evidence and have it reevaluated by your own experts. Robinson's attorneys add that they have received about 20,000 electronic audio electronic audio files, videos, and written documents that prosecutors have presented as evidence in this case. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. 20,000 electronic audio, video, and written documents. When someone wants to, I guess, do a true evaluation of, Do they have the right person? When you have 20,000 items of evidence that the prosecution has presented, this means that the prosecution has determined that this amount of evidence proves their case. They have to present it for the defense, and the defense have to evaluate it. 20,000 items of evidence is insane, ladies and gentlemen. And what this implicates is that they are claiming that we have 20,000 items of evidence that prove that Tyler Robinson is the one that did the murder, did the assassination. So just keep that in mind while you're evaluating if this legitimate or not, or if the FBI made a mistake or not. All right, let's continue to read. All right, let's go down a little bit. Look at that devil. He'll burn in hell unless he give his life to Christ. And look at Charlie Kirk. This is a man that we lost, and what are y'all doing today? Destroying his wife and his legacy, and Turning Point USA and everything that man stood for. He did all this in vain for some of you because you want clicks and you want sound bites and you're easily deceived. Instead of standing up for this man here, you're pushing conspiracy theories. All right, let's go down a little bit. All right, let's see. It says the defense team. Now, don't you find it ironic that they talk about the defense team halfway down the article? You would think that they would allude to what the defense team is evaluating at the top of the article, but they wouldn't do that because they need clicks from you, which I don't blame them. That's what they do for a living. That's their company motto, right? All right. The defense team has devoted and will continue to devote significant resources to process and discovery, including identifying material not yet received and inform readiness of the preliminary hearing, okay? Let's see. Let's go down. However, the defense team is realistic, and the comprehensive review required to determine what is missing will take hundreds of hours. What is known at present is that Mr. Robinson has not yet received the forensic case files and data necessary to investigate. Through the use of qualified experts, scientific reports, the state intends to introduce at the preliminary hearing, the attorneys continued. It says the defense attorneys and prosecution have previously met on March the 12th. Based on the meeting, the defense said the motion it believes prosecutors will introduce discrete buckets of evidence through 3 identified law enforcement witnesses at the preliminary hearing. This include conclusive what's that? What's that? Conclusory. I ain't never seen that word in my life. Conclusory forensic DNA and ballistics reporting authorities by the FBI and ATF, social media data, testimony by law enforcement officers and about the crime scene and search location, testimony by Mr. Robinson's parents, roommates, as well as significant amount of hearsay from non-testified peace officers. All right. Prosecutor have also alleged that Robinson drove 3 hours from his home to the university campus to kill Charlie Kirk. All right. So let's talk about this because there's a lot of stuff here and we can go over it. I think I can continue to read the article. It says he was turned over to authorities by his father, Matt, after he recognized his own dad's rifle in an image released by police aimed amid a manhunt for Kirk's assassin. Taylor's grandfather had given him the rifle as a gift before he used it to kill Charlie Kirk, authorities have said. After then, recognizing the unique gun, Matt texted his son, asking him for the picture of his father's heirloom, which the suspect could not provide, according to police. In text exchange between Tyler Robinson and his roommate and partner, Lance Twiggs, the alleged killer claimed the rifle was the only evidence he left behind, court documents show. If I'm able to grab my rifle, y'all already read that. They're just quoting some of the evidence. Robinson also reportedly wrote about planning to get the weapon from his drop spot. They have that. Let's see, we have all that. These are all things that they had already written. I'm worried about the old man, what he would do. I mean, all of these things that he's saying is incriminating. And the little weirdo here that he was getting banged up by. All of these little weird stuff that he's doing. Alleged killer then expressed concern that his father would ask for the gun. I mean, these are things that what we call circumstantial evidence, ladies and gentlemen. And it says it might be abandoned. Okay, these are all things that we already know. So if you're going to read the article, make sure you read all the way down because they do recap some of the things that are notable. All right. Let's get to this part, and I'm gonna sum it up for you. I think let's put it this way. I want the person who killed Charlie Kirk to be brought to justice and put to death. That's what I want. I don't think that there's many people out there that want justice more than I do. Maybe his wife and his mom and daddy, maybe. They want justice more, I would assume. But there is no way in the world that I would overlook, that I would not be open-minded to things that contradict what has already been put out there. Let's make something really clear, and I want you guys to listen to me on this. Quit listening to these people that just want to get clicks. The FBI, local law enforcement, is not allowed to release certain information. When you are a person, I'm gonna give you an example. Breonna Taylor. I knew almost everything about Breonna Taylor before it ever hit the news. But I never shared it because I did not want to compromise the case. I let them file the case. I let it go to trial. I let it go to court or whatever the case it be. Then I released it because I didn't want to compromise. So if there's anybody that's claiming that they got information about the case and you find them disclosing information about the case through sources, that person is making a grave mistake. And that person does not care about the trial. They care about what their image look like and being correct. If you get information in a case like this, you keep it to yourself until they go to trial. And then you can begin to disclose the information that you had when they're in trial because there's no turning back. You don't do it before the trial because you can cause a mistrial. And then somebody can draw in a question, what information do you have? And then they can draw in a question, well, we need your electronic communications because have you been communicating with investigators and information has been disclosed to you that's not being disclosed to the defense or being disclosed to the prosecution? And now you have found yourself involved in a trial. And you may end up committing or causing a mistrial in a situation where a guy is guilty as the noonday sun, or it's clear that he's guilty as the noonday sun. I'll say this as well. People have these conspiracy theories in their mind that the FBI is not telling us everything. Of course they're not telling you everything. They cannot tell you everything. This is an investigation. They have to win at trial. They're not here to tickle your fancy on a podcast. That's not their job. I did this for a living. I know what information that we didn't ever put out to the media and we never put out to the people because it was a part of an investigation that we could not compromise. And some people want them to compromise a case where they have Charlie Kirk's killer. Some people want Charlie Kirk's killer to get off. They cannot release this information to you because it could be damaging. The same reason why the defense team is not releasing all the information they have because they don't want to taint the jury pool. And this is why they don't want the case to be public. Let me finish this. I think Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. Now, could somebody have been behind, encouraging him, indoctrinating him, giving him resources to do it? That could be a possibility. But we have no real evidence of that. There is so much overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson did this. But what's happening is that there are people who don't do investigations and they love to do click and get you excited, but they're not being genuine about the process. They're not being genuine when they tell you that his parents are the one that identified him on the surveillance. His dad sent him a text, which is an electronic communication that's been extracted through the investigation. You can't fake the text. It came from this phone to this phone. His dad messaged him about the gun. He responded to his father about the gun in a text from this cell phone to this cell phone. These are reasons why he got arrested. His dad is saying the gun is missing. His dad is saying that's my father's gun. My son had that gun. And for people out here believing in conspiracies, how do you think that? You think the FBI stole that gun from his grandfather? You think the FBI found a random kid, stole the gun from his grandfather, put his DNA on it, threw it in the woods, had his dad text him about it, had his dad identify him, If it was another random person identifying him, I could see how you guys may question it. His own father and mother independently identified him in the surveillance video. It's his grandfather's gun. His grandfather, I don't know if his grandfather's alive to testify to it. I think he is. His father will testify to it. The prosecution is going to call his parents, his boyfriend, and family members to the stand. If the prosecution didn't think they were going to snitch on him, they wouldn't call him to the stand. They're calling these people to the stand because they're willing to testify against Tyler Robinson. Family identified him, DNA on the gun, motive was there, text messages, handwritten letter, posts on Reddit or whatever that forum was. I think it was Discord. They got posts on Discord. I mean, you name it, they have a lot of evidence. And I'll end it with this. All I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen, is that be fair, balanced, and patient with the investigation. There's no reason to think that the defense team is doing anything wrong. There's no reason to believe that the prosecution is doing anything wrong. There's no reason to believe that the FBI or local law enforcement did anything wrong. You're jumping to conclusions that don't need to be had. At face value, and from all that I know about investigations over the years that I've been covering this stuff and also doing it for a living, it doesn't appear that there's any impropriety so far in this investigation based on what we know, not what we speculate. Therefore, when they go to trial, which is why I think we should fight for this to be a public trial, then we'll be able to see who is saying what and what evidence we have. This would be a telltale sign if the prosecution was wrong. Is if the prosecution was fighting that this wouldn't be public. If the prosecution had something to hide and they faked all this stuff, they wouldn't want the public to know about it. Some of you guys are saying that the government had something to do with it, but the government is telling you they want the trial to be public. No, the people that don't want the trial to be public is the defense team because they're trying to get this boy off of the death penalty. All right? All right, let's get to, we got a super chat that just came in. I'm going to get to that, then we get to our other stories. I'm sorry that took too long. I had to get this stuff on my chest because this is Charlie's life, legacy, and the pursuit of justice. This is nothing to play with. And some people want this Tyler Robinson guy to get off. And it's crazy if he was to get off and he was the one that killed our friend Charlie. It's crazy to me. Let's see. We no longer live in a world of being prosecuted by public opinion, but by social media opinions. A ton of doubt is going to screw up the trial, and misjustice will be abound. God bless. Hey, thank you so much, Mark, for the super chat. 100%, man. None of this is all influencers just talking out their ashy elbows, bro. All right, now let's get to another situation that I think was blowing up yesterday. I wish I'd have came back up here and did a video. It's Jaden Ivey. So we're going to talk about Jaden Ivey, but before we get there, we're going to talk about Verdict. Shout out to Verdict Bourbon, best bourbon on the market. Go look at our reviews. Don't believe Brandon Tatum. Go look at the reviews. All you got to do is go to verdictbourbon.com, go to the reviews, read the reviews, and see what people are saying about the verdict, what their verdict is about the bourbon. And then you can see we're in restaurants. We're getting ready to get into our first grocery store, which is a high-end grocery store because we're a high-end bourbon. We're getting ready to do that. You know, Fred Minnick, I may say his name wrong. He's one of the bourbon enthusiasts. He gave us an 8.7. I thought that was pretty good. He gave us an 8.7 out of 10. And I think we should have got a 9.2. But, hey, he the expert. I'm going to let you be the judge. Verdict Bourbon, get it now before it sells out because it's moving fast. Hottest bourbon on the market. There's not one person that tried Verdict and didn't say it was amazing. I'm telling you. I'm not making this up. Give it a try. You get two things, you get free shipping. I mean, you get two items, you get free shipping. All right, let's get to Jaden Ivey. All right. This is one of those situations that kind of bothered me, right? Because you can do everything else under the sun and be a degenerate. Slap your girlfriend, do all kind of other stuff, be a total degenerate, get a DUI while you're a basketball player, and they probably wouldn't they'll turn their head. But if you start talking against the devil in the league and letting your voice be heard, they want to release you from the team. Now, I will say this, in all fairness, if he was a starter and he was the man on the team, LeBron James, or somebody like that, they wouldn't have done him like this. He was low-hanging fruit, and they made an example out of him to show the rest of you rookies and people that are not like superstars that you get out of line, we'll take your livelihood. Now, here is what he said that got him in trouble, and you tell me what you think about this. Do you think that this is somehow against the LGBTQ or something that needed, I don't say retaliation over? Roll the clip.
That the world can proclaim LGBTQ, right? They proclaim Pride Month and the NBA. They proclaim it. They show it to the world. They say, come join us for Pride Month, to celebrate unrighteousness. They proclaim it. They proclaim it on the billboards. They proclaim it in the streets. Unrighteousness. So how is it that one can't speak righteousness?
So I guess this is what he said, and he got in trouble for it. I don't think there's anything wrong with what he said. It is unrighteousness. They push that gay stuff all the time, and it bothers me. All they doing is pushing gay stuff. They're not pushing marriage and family. They're not pushing Christ. They're not pushing you to live right. They pushing that gay weird stuff. Like, I don't understand, because in the NBA, it's probably, what, one player gay? I don't know. How many trans players in the NBA? None. So why are y'all doing that? I don't understand what's the obsession with gay stuff. Just be gay, man. I mean, like, look, man, God gonna judge you. I ain't got nothing to do with you being gay. But why y'all gotta put it in everybody's face? Somebody told me today is like Trans Awareness Month. Why? Why do I care that you a transition? You supposed to be a woman, right? You said you a woman at birth. You were in the wrong body. Then why you need to be called trans then? Because y'all nasty freaks and y'all got an agenda. A lot of these are weird, horny dudes that want to dress up like a woman and get off on it. Some of y'all ain't even really trying. Voice sound like a man, big old feet, big old kneecaps, looking weird like a mug, but because you got a fetish or something. I think that's most of these grown men doing it. Little kids get manipulated by their parents. Their parents should go to jail, to be quite honest. Ain't no kid trans. I got 2 kids. Wait, 5. He knew he was Johnny knew he was trans when he was 5. Impossible. If your kid know he trans at 5, he's a genius. That means he'll graduate college at 5. If you telling me a 5-year-old got the wisdom and understanding to identify something that you didn't put in his brain, that he came up on his own, that I'm in the wrong body. My son don't know what bodies it. My son, he's 5. And my son's smarter than 99% of kids I know. See, my son is a genius, and he don't know that. How he gonna know about a trans? Now, of course, kids do get curious, right? They see certain stuff, and they like, oh, I want to do this. What do you do as a parent, you coward? You tell your kid, no, you ain't doing that. Why y'all so weak today? My son want to put the heels on because mama wear heels. No, the boys don't do that. It's that simple. Boys don't do that. No, take it off. That's weird. Boys don't do that. You don't need to wear no heels. That's for women. And when you tell your kid that stuff, what do? They go, okay, that makes sense. But what happens, you nasty fools, you thrust your kids into it. Anyway, let's move on. We got a little video after he get released. This is kind of his response to the rebuttal video.
They said my conduct is detrimental to the team, right? Why didn't they just say we don't agree with his stance on LGBTQ? Why didn't they say that? Well, how is it conduct detrimental to the team? What did I do to the team? What did I do to the players? I did nothing but practice with them, play with them, pass the ball to them, good teammate to them. Said good job, good shot. I said, good job, good pass, way to play, bro. Right? I said these things to my teammates. was never detrimental to them. So why is it that the NBA and the Chicago Bulls say that I'm detrimental to the team? How?
All right, perfect.
Because
So you guys kind of heard what he had to say. I want to play what his coach said in response. And some of these other clips in post-production, when we put the video out later, we'll add some of these clips so you can guys have a little more context if you need it. But this is what one of the coaches said. And this tells you clearly that it's not really about what he said. It's about this. It's about the backlash. They don't want the backlash because he wasn't detrimental to the team. He probably wasn't a problem to the team, but you cannot stand up against the LGBTQ mob or they will shun you. Roll the clip.
Billy, obviously news that the organization really doesn't love to embrace today with Jaden. First of all, did you see what it was transpiring the last couple days with him and the stuff he was posting? What was your concern level? Because it just, I mean, no one ever knows anybody. We got a brief meeting with him, but he seemed to be spiraling in my eyes. What did you see of the whole thing?
Yeah, I had not followed or seen that.
A man saying that he's standing up for Christ Jesus and he's calling a spade is spiraling. I mean, you guys understand what kind of world we live in? If he was talking about sucking some dude off or something, they would be celebrating him. If he was gay and trans and talking about sex toys, they wouldn't say nothing about the man. He wouldn't be spiraling if he talking about how many women he's sleeping with and baby mamas. I'm telling you, like, if he was doing degeneracy and he was being nasty and doing all kind of crazy, nonsensical stuff on his own personal time, they wouldn't say nothing about him. Nothing. But because he talk about Jesus Christ, they got like it's a threat to the world. Y'all gonna pay for that. Roll the clip. Finish the clip.
Myself, but obviously Beth had shared with me some of the stuff that was going on, right? And we've been on this road trip. You know, I would just say this. You know, at least since I've been with the Bulls, you know, we've got people in there from all different backgrounds,
right?
You know, inside the organization. So I think the first thing is how well organized. And this goes for players, I think coaches, everybody in that building. It's always been, I think, that what's been from the top, like we're all going to work well together. You know, we're all going to basically take care of each other. We're going to accept each other. And I think we're going to be hardworking. We're going to be accountable, and we're going to be respectful, and we're going to be professional. You know, I think that's kind of what it's been. I know some of the things that were put out there. You know, I think it's a situation for him where, you know, it's on his own personal Instagram. I don't want to get into what he put out there, but certainly I hope for him, you know, he's okay. I don't know, you know, like I've had conversations with Jaden and stuff, and he's been always about rehabbing his knee and trying to get back on the court and wanting to play. But I think organizationally, there's certain standards I think we want to have as an organization and try to live up to those each and every day.
All right, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on to the next story, but I want to be very clear about this. When they say I want everybody to get along and tolerate each other, it's like, no, we tolerate everybody but Christians. Like if you want to be a Christian and you want to be open about your faith, no, we don't tolerate that. That's it. We can't tolerate that. If you want to be openly gay and you want to be a whore, sleeping with as many women as you can, we tolerate that. You're a part of the team. You want to be degenerate? You want to play all that crazy music in the locker room, talking about sucking and doing all this stuff and cussing and shooting and killing? You want to do all that? We accept you. Please bring your differences to the locker room. You want to come in there with a thong on because you want to cross-dress. They say that's accepting. But if you want to be a Christian, we can't accept that. Well, if you accept it, then you accept the Christian that you don't agree with. It's crazy because you can't disagree with gay stuff because you're an intolerant. You're an intolerant person, they claim. But you can disagree with Christianity and you're not intolerant. I feel like if a Christian is in the locker room and I don't like what he say, if I'm a tolerant person, I'll tolerate what he say even though I don't agree. The same way, if a gay dude is in the locker room, don't touch me, I don't touch you, but I'm gonna let you be gay. I'll tolerate you. That's tolerance. But the way they project it now is that tolerating the gay dude is tolerance. The Christian, we can't have nothing to do with this. This is biblical. All right, let's get to these female police officers because it's going to blow your socks off. I cannot believe what I'm watching. Let's go to the female police officers. Let me just tell you this. I know a lot of people give women crap for being police officers. 90% of what people are saying is true. There are good female police officers. I don't think policing is the profession for women. I think some women are exceptions to the rule, and they are good police officers. But the average woman should have nothing to do with being a cop. The average man could get away with being a cop, but the average woman has nothing that should not even think about applying to be a police officer. And I know I'm going to get backlash for that. I'm not talking about you. You're a good cop. I'm talking about the one that didn't make the academy, that you and I both know didn't make the academy, or the one that just got fired because they failed to act. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not giving men a pass because some of them are sorry dogs too. But what I'm saying, on average, if you're a person with common sense, it's nowhere in the world that a situation like this should happen. And that's because women are not capable physically like men. And the reason why I would never say that women should never be in a profession is because you're not fighting people every day. And sometimes women have a way of approaching and de-escalating situations and non-confrontational things that are better than men. So in some situations, women do better. Investigations and other things that don't need physical force and the physical ability to fight grown men. That's why I think women do have value in the police department. But when it comes to straight line cops out here trying to fight people and deal with stuff like this, we need to mitigate and make higher restrictions so you don't have this happening. Look at this.
Don't take me, bro.
Time out. Look at that lady back there with the she got the taser on his back. In my opinion, none of this makes sense. This is not the way you would tactically deploy a taser. One reason is because you don't have a good visual of what he's doing in the front. You just got a thing to his back. You can't see what he's doing. The person with the taser, like when you behind a man like this, you could go hands-on with the guy. He can't see you. You have an advantage. The person in the front can put the taser on him because they can monitor his movement, meaning that they can see what he's doing with his hands. They're talking to him. They're communicating with him. They can see what his demeanor is. Is his face balled up? Is he ready to fight? Or is he giving up? The girl in the back can't see nothing that he's doing. She don't know what his next move is. She can't see nothing. She's behind him. I think the reason why, and I don't know if departments have become too reliant on tasers, the reason why these women, there's a taser out anyway because these are women. Almost 100% believe that. It's because these are women. Roll the clip. Time out. Think about this. She got this taser out. She's backed into a corner. So as soon as he turned around, it's full panic. I ain't got no room to maneuver or move. That's why you should have never had a taser on him in the corner like that. He turns around and that's on, and now you got the thing in your hand and he this close to you. You don't want to do that. That's not good tactics. Keep rolling. Time out. Nobody's trying to go hands-on. Nobody's going hands-on, which is a huge problem. You got one person with a taser and one person trying to pepper spray. I'm not really trying to be overly punitive because they may be trained like this, which is poor training. if you're gonna tase somebody, and you're gonna have you need somebody that's willing to arrest the guy after you've tased him. Pepper spraying. Now you got pepper spray in your hand. She got taser in her hand, and when it's time to fight, nobody can fight because they got stuff in their hands. They can't arrest them because they got pepper spray and stuff in their hands. Roll it.
Oh.
Now somebody shot him from the back. What is this? Like, you can't shoot a man in the back with that's clearly unarmed. As a cop, you can't shoot somebody because they may be tougher than you. It's for y'all. Y'all jumping. That's what happened. You can't claim you're in fear for your life or deadly force when the man is clearly unarmed. He was unarmed with his shirt off. He was unarmed after he got tased. He was unarmed when he got off the ground. He wasn't even reaching for a gun. There's no evidence of that. And you end up shooting him in the back because y'all too scared to go hands-on because you shouldn't be a cop in the first place. Or you should be doing security. You can't be a cop. So they shoot the man in the back. Roll the clip.
Where's the male officers at? There's 5 females. Where's the male? I'm gonna fist up that if that has a male officer.
Time out. She still got a taser in her hand. You're not tasing anybody with 5 people on top of them. Because everybody's going to ride the lightning. Put your taser away. Put your gun away. It's 5 of y'all. When he start acting up, go hands on. Don't shoot the guy. 1 minute left, roll it. Put your taser away. Now, shout out to them for at least trying to put their life on the line for the public. So I don't want to dismantle their entire efforts to serve in the community. But we got to do better as a law enforcement agency. But the problem is you demonize cops so much people don't want to be cops. But we got to raise the standard, man. Fat cops, females who are not capable, men who are overly aggressive and weird because what happens is the reason we see shootings and reason we see use of force, excessive use of force, because people are not confident in their abilities. If you're good at defensive tactics and you know how to fight, you don't have to draw your gun. You don't have to shoot anybody. If you're proficient in your training, you know when to use a taser and when not to use a taser. You know how to take people down. You know how to fight from the ground and different things like that, which every police officer should have adequate training in doing. You wouldn't have to do some of the stuff that the cops are doing. I was very confident in my ability to fight and my ability to shoot, which is one of the reasons why I didn't shoot like 2 or 3 people that I could have shot on duty. Because I was very confident that, like, dude, I'll put 2 to the head before you can think. So I don't need to be overly aggressive and trying to do too much. Dudes used to get all buck wild with me, and I'm like, I'll drop this dude right here, easy. So I'm like, sir, calm down. I'm not afraid, so I got to get all hype. The guys who are afraid, they get hype. I gotta, my life is in a fight. I gotta shoot him. I tase him. I can't. It's like, nah, man. Hey, come down before I drop you. Put you to sleep out here with no pillow. All right. Is that all the stories? Um, let's jump to the voicemails. We'll do the No Kings tomorrow. We got to intro that a little better next time we get it. So just so you guys know, we have the voicemails, right? And you can call in, leave a voicemail. If you leave a voicemail, make sure you leave your name and the state you're from. Don't leave your full name. Just leave your first name. All right? And the state that you're calling from, you can ask me a question. You can, just tell me something that's on your mind, in a positive way. Or if you hate me, you say you tell me you hate me. And if, the team decide that it's good enough, we'll put it on the show. All right. So we got, how many? We got 6 calls. Now, just so you guys know, I don't listen to these calls beforehand. My team do. That's how they pick them, but I haven't listened to them. So you guys are going to listen to the voicemails that the people have left me with me. All right. Y'all ready to go? Let's roll it.
Hey, Officer Tatum. This is Mike from Alabama. Long time fan of yours, man. Really dig what you say. Don't always 100% agree with you, but that's okay. Discourse and all that. But with everything going on with Iran, all this stuff, I'm all for it. I think they need to go, but it's getting hairier and hairier, crazier and crazier. I think boots on the ground puts us on a path, in a bad path, if you get what I'm saying. So what do you think about it? How should we proceed? Should we just sit back and hope for the best, or because stuff's getting kind of sketchy? You know what I'm saying? It's getting a little hairy here. I'm just wondering, with the midterms coming up, how bad is this going to be for us? Thank you, OT. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, Mike from Alabama. Thank you so much for that call. I see where people are coming from. Like, I don't think it's to the point of worry for me when it comes to the Iran war. I think Trump has it on lock. I think our government and military and PHEXF, I think they're on to a right path. We get boots on the ground. I do believe that we have a strategy to make it temporary and get things done and get out of there. That's what my thought process is. That's what I believe. I believe Trump is the man to do this, and I don't think he's going to have us in a never-ending war. I think never-ending wars don't happen by accident. It's not like we get in and we can't get out. It's that they didn't never want to get out. They wanted to be in a never-ending war, and that's why they kept us there. So I don't think that with somebody like Trump, we have to worry about it. However, what I will say is that be mindful, be diligent, keep an eye on it, and hold our government's feet to the fire. Because I'm all for operations. I'm all for boots on the ground. If we have a strategic plan to make sure that this is in the best interest of America and we're not going to end up over there forever. And if we can do that and execute that with boots on the ground, I'm good with that. If we cannot accomplish that, we do not need to put boots on the ground. And I will be the first one to criticize Donald Trump if this war ends up being longer than he promised it would be. And so that's my thoughts on that. Next call.
Yo, you are a disgrace. Please stop selling America First merch. Please, and if anything, start selling Israel First merch, and then I think that people would respect you, because this whole America First is a joke. And if you're really about this Iran war, why don't you sign up? Since the age is now at 42? Yeah, go ahead and sign up. And when your sons turn 18, sign them up too, because you're a joke. Your whole life is a joke. And it's sad to say, but you literally scammed a bunch of your followers. I think that it's sad because you have no substance. Your moral compass is literally gone. So please, put the phone down, turn off, or take away all your because it's done. Everything's done. Your whole lid has blown off.
You know what's funny? Like, people literally must listen to me to know that I'm doing the wrong thing, to then find, like, it's not like this person listened to me and they don't like me and they unsubscribe. This person clearly still listened to me long enough to get the phone number to call. Like, you still watching my content. If I'm that bad, how you get the phone number? You still watching me. Quit lying, girl. They be in their feelings, man. You should go sign up for the war. I don't need to. Why would I need to go sign up for the war? If I signed up, am I gonna go to the battlefield? That's how stupid people are. You don't know nothing about the military. I go sign up today. I'm deployable how long? I got to go through basic academy. I got to go through training and everything. And then how long until I'm deployable? The war is over. And then when my kids turn 18, have them sign up. Well, you telling me the war is going to be still going on 4 years from now? Or for my youngest son, I don't know, 12 years from now? 13 years from now, the war going to still be going on? Okay. That's what I thought. Quit being silly. All right, next call.
I just want to say you're doing a beautiful job, but can we fix your smoke detectors?
Is that the end of the clip? I wonder, do people really think my smoke detector is going off? Maybe Joe is overusing the smoke detector thing. You think that person really think that my smoke detectors are? I'm in a facility. We don't have smoke detectors like that. All right. Anyway, next caller.
Hi, my name is Mary, and I'm from the state of Florida. I just
Loud.
want to say how much I enjoy your show. And I believe you asked a question about what happened to boomers. I have no idea. I'm 74 years old, and I can't imagine why these white women are out there being the liberal idiots they are. I don't know what happened to them. Yes, we fought for a lot of freedoms, but idiocy was not one of them. Have a great day. You're a great guy, and I love your show.
Thank you, Mary from Florida. I love that. All right, next call.
Hey, Officer Tatum, it's me, Matthew. I just want to say that you came to Christian Collegiate Academy a couple days ago, and I loved your message and what you had to say about God. And I'm just so thankful that you got to come down there. And me and my family just loved your message yesterday, and how in every point you used God, and I love that, bro. Love you.
Love you too, Matthew, man. I appreciate that. From Mississippi. I was in Mississippi. It was great in Mississippi, man. That event was incredible. The kids were amazing. That was one of my favorite events, to be honest. So shout out to y'all, man. Y'all really made my day with that event. It was fun. Everybody was laughing. You know, it was a really, really good event. So, all right, last call. Roll it.
Officer Tatum, Brandon, I'm out here in South Carolina working 12-hour shifts. The media says the economy's booming, but I'm looking at the cost of materials and struggles that my crew has just to put gas in their trucks and get to the site. Are we living in two different Americas, or is the common sense just gone? Big shout out to you, B. Tatum. I'm your #1 fan. Like to see you in the Charlotte area. Like to see more meet and greets. And just an opinion, have a guest or two on every now and again. Tim Pool, and you guys rock, man. All right, B. Tatum, #1. Peace out.
Appreciate you, my brother from another mother. You know, I need to do that, man. We're trying to work. I'll give y'all some insight at post-show clarity about this, but there's a lot of things I want to do, but there's structural things that it's hard to do it at the speed in which I want to do it at. That's just so you know. And I will talk about that in post-show clarity, because that's kind of like a business concept or a business idea or business. It's not really advice, but it's kind of like an insight into the businesses that I do, and just the struggle with being a big visionary and then it not being able to happen immediately. So anyway, we'll talk about that later. Shout out to all the members. Thank y'all for being members of the Tatum Squad. You can start as an officer, promote you to sergeant, and then you can be promoted. Did we go to sergeant? It's officer. No, it's rookie, officer, SWAT, and then deputy chief. Shout out to my deputy chiefs. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all support. And shout out to everybody that's a member. All right, y'all. I love y'all. We got some more stuff coming in tomorrow, but I'll see the rest of y'all on the post-show clarity side. Hold the phone.